When I woke up this morning, I had a message from the lead developer of XLibre, the open source fork of Xorg. And people on the left, I should preface this for those of you new around here, people on the left are not big fans of XLibre for a million different reasons. One of which is the lead developer is not a leftist guy. And the left-leaning folks in the open source world, they cannot abide people not sharing their political views, so they get really cranky. The other reason is they hate anything that continues the X server in X11. They want it to die in favor of Wayland. For some reason, it's become like this political crusade with them. I don't understand it, but they're all worked up in a tizzy and have remained this way about XLibre. Well, the XLibre lead developer made a change this morning, put in a new merge request that made me laugh out loud. I let out a solid chortle based on this. He renamed a function. Now, a lot of you are saying, well, so what? Get this. There is a function called getFirstScreenPtr inside of the X server for XLibre and Xorg. He has renamed it from getFirstScreenPtr to, I kid you not, getMasterScreen. Which is going to drive all of the inclusive naming people absolutely nuts. They've been fighting against the word master for years now, and this is just yet another thing where they're going to be like, well, clearly XLibre is a bunch of fascist Nazis because they use the word master. They're promoting human slavery because they use the word master. It's craziness, but they literally will be saying that over the coming days. Let me read you some of the some of the explanation for this, because it actually has a really valid reason for doing it. It's not just an epic level troll. It's also a very reasonable change. Quote, this is from the merge request here. In Xinerama Panoramics configuration, there's one screen that's having special meaning. It's used for simulating as the front end for all client operations. The clients should only talk to that screen, while Panoramic Subsystem is proxying those operations to all other screens with certain changes applied, such as coordinate transformations. Now, historically, this screen happened to be the first one in the system. Some of its procs are hooked up in order to achieve the desired behavior. That's why, I know this is super nerdy, but follow me, it's fantastic. That's why it used to be accessed via screeninfo.screens0, so the first item in the screens array. That already had been encapsulated into a tiny helper function called getFirstScreen. So the correct terminus technicus for a situation where one device or software entity entirely controlling others is a master-slave relationship. The controlling device or entity is master, and the controlled ones are slave to that specific master. The term first screen is inaccurate and misleading here. What the callers are actually interested in is the first entry in the screen array. It is not the first entry in the screen array, but the screen that's controlling the others. With upcoming refactoring of the Xinerama Panoramic subsystem in the X server, this might well be a different array index than 0. Right? So the term default also wouldn't match. Default implies there's a real practical choice, and such value applies when no explicit choice has been made. But in this case, it practically doesn't make sense, except perhaps for a debugging purpose, for a client to use any different screen. Therefore, fixing the function name to the correct terminology for the sake of patch readability, renaming corresponding variables is left to subsequent patches, signed off by Enrico Vigelt, the man behind the XLibre project. And it is included, and now they will not get the first screen in XLibre, they will get the master screen. Yes, please. More of this, please. Not just because it drives the inclusive naming people crazy. That's a benefit. That's a plus. I love that because honestly, they should be driven crazy. Already a little nuts. But because it is a return to reasonable, normal engineering terminology. The inclusive naming stuff is fine as long as it doesn't drive us away from actual engineering terminology. Things like whitelist and blacklist. Those are very real, very descriptive, easy to understand terms. Moving away from them is silly. Master slave, even more so. As it, from an engineering perspective, things being master and things being slave has been around forever in computer hardware, in computer software, and beyond computing and into just general engineering. Master-slave relationships in an engineering stance has been around forever. So moving back to that is a real solid thing. Moving back to just engineering in our computers, not worrying about, oh no, that's the same, that word is spelled the same as a word people use for human slavery. That makes people feel real bad because someone 175 years ago that they'd never met before was a slave, and that's real bad. So we can't use those words ever again because someone felt bad because there was a sort of, but not exactly relationship between this word and that. And that's stupid. It's just stupid. We need to knock off this inclusive naming nonsense, toss it out. I even saw the Linux Foundation has a document that they put out of all the words that they don't want people using in like Linux kernel development and things like that. Things like grandfathered, like, we changed the rules and changed the systems, but people who signed up or started using an older system, using an older API or something, that's grandfathered in, right? Grandfathering things in. You can't say that anymore. Why? I don't know. Because maybe some people don't know their grandfather, or some people didn't like their grandfather, so we shouldn't use the word oh my word. I cannot even. So this is delightful. Thank you to the XLibre project for continuing to make me smile each and every day. If you have not subscribed to the Lunduke Journal, what in the heck are you waiting for? The Lunduke Journal is rad. Go to lunduke.com and grab a free subscription. Local, Substack, X, Rumble, YouTube, Patreon, I don't care. Grab a free subscription and enjoy all the articles, all the shows, all of it for free. And then if you really want to support the Lunduke Journal and keep us big tech free, keep the non-woke tech journalism coming, scroll down on that lunduke.com and make a choice. You can get a paid subscription via Locals, Substack, X, YouTube, Patreon, Bitcoin, and even via Itch. It's absolutely phenomenal, and I highly, highly recommend it because it's awesome. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, nerds and nerdettes across the inner tubes, I do declare, end broadcast.